Moving on, the United Nations' two major bodies, the 193 National General Assembly and the more powerful 15-member Security Council met separately to discuss the 5-day-old war. The 193-member United Nations General Assembly held a rare emergency session over the ex-Soviet states' invasion. The extraordinary debate was just the 11th the Assembly was held or has held in the United Nations' 77-year history. Russia faced urgent calls to end its unprovoked and unjustified assault on Ukraine. Inside the General Assembly hall, nations after nations urged peace from the podium. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres pleaded the fighting in Ukraine must stop.
Although Russian strikes are reportedly largely targeting Ukrainian military facilities, we have credible accounts of residential buildings, critical civilian infrastructure, and other non-military targets sustaining heavy damage. This escalating violence, which is resulting in civilian deaths, including children, is totally unacceptable. Enough is enough.
Ukraine's UN ambassador, Sergei Kislita, described Putin's order to put Russian nuclear forces on alert as madness. Kislita told the General Assembly, if Ukraine does not survive, international peace will not survive. Kislita told the Council that Russia persists in its aggression despite its initial invasion plan failed.
If he wants to kill himself, he doesn't need to use nuclear arsenal. He has to do what the guy in Berlin did in a bunker in May 1945. If Ukraine does not survive, international peace will not survive. If Ukraine does not survive, the United Nations will not survive. Have no illusions. If Ukraine does not survive, we cannot be surprised if democracy fails next. Now we can save Ukraine, save the United Nations, save democracy, and defend the values we believe in.
Representatives of more than 100 countries are expected to speak over 3 days. The global body will decide if it will support a resolution that demands Russia to immediately withdraw its troops from Ukraine. A vote is expected on Wednesday. It must reach a 2/3 threshold to pass. The resolution is non-binding, but will serve as a marker of how isolated Russia is. Russia is encountering deepening global isolation. During the rare emergency special session, Russia defended its decision to invade its neighbor. Russia's UN ambassador, Vasily Nebenzia, said its action in Ukraine are being distorted and thwarted. Both meetings follow Russia's veto Friday of a Security Council resolution demanding withdrawal of all Russian troops and immediate halt on attack on Ukraine. There is no veto right at the General Assembly. It had held a similar vote in 2014 condemning Russia's seizure of Crimea and obtained 100 votes in support. The UN Security Council held a separate emergency meeting on the humanitarian situation in Ukraine, while the UN Human Rights Council voted in Geneva to hold its own urgent session. The Council will hold an urgent debate on March the 3rd. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.